Hi Cancer, welcome to your mid-December 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So I'm recording this on Monday the 7th, and exactly a week from now we are going to be experiencing a solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And for your particular sign, this is the, oh gosh, I hope I got it right when I did my astrology. Oh yeah, good. It's going to be the 6th house for you. I was thinking it was the 8th house, and I had been doing that for Taurus. So yeah, so it's the 6th house for you, which is a house of health and work. This can be a great time for you to incorporate new wellness practices, dietary structures, changes to your life. This may be a time when you find that you have a lot more work opportunities coming your way. So it's a very practical solar eclipse or powerful new moon. Oh, I got that exact same card in the same position for Gemini, which is kind of interesting. I think a lot of us are going to receive good news in one way or the other. Okay. So the so hard with this. Sorry about that. It's really not going to make much of a difference, but I got to do what I got to do. The Page of Wands is a card of, good news coming your way. Start spreading the news. Maybe we'll use it as a title as well. And also new endeavors that you have started that bring a lot of joy to your life, maybe make you feel like a kid again, feel like you have something to look forward to in life. If you've been kind of going through the motions and feeling a little bit, I don't know, less than inspired, this can be a very nice experience where you're doing something that is a personal passion and it's starting out, in that initial stage. And if it's like a relationship, it can be like an affair, which, and I was saying this to Gemini, doesn't mean, cheating on somebody, meaning that it's very passionate. It's coming from a very passionate place. It's not boring. It's the exact opposite of that. There's just in general this feeling of some kind of good communication, something that uplifts you, that occurs. So even if you hear back that you have gotten a job that you wanted, that can certainly be the case. And in the past position, we have the Three of Pentacles, which is a card of teamwork, it's a good money card for attracting abundance to you. But it's a card of co-workers, so this sense of working for a thing that's higher than yourselves. It's not just like me, it's we, so you're doing it together, whatever this is. It's also the Architect's card. And so this can mean that you're building something from the ground floor up. You're not trying to take shortcuts. You're well aware of the need to do things very thoroughly. Also, and I it's not in this deck, but I think in the Rider-Waite deck they show a baby getting christened. So to me, I think it can also be like finding out that you're pregnant or something like that. And certainly that might be the good news that you've been waiting for, thinking of Cancer as a sign of the mother. The higher message is the Five of Wands, which is a card of conflict. But it doesn't have to be something toxic. In some cases, it can be like showing your stuff and just jumping in there, that you're in an environment with people that are bringing their A game, and you can't be reticent. You have to go in there. So we have two wands on the top row here, which is all about the fire energy that is connected to your own, how would I put it, what you bring to the table. This is your personal imprint, and nobody else has what you have, your essence, your creativity, but also coming from a place of empowerment. And sometimes when people feel insecure, they want to be in an environment that everybody is kind of mailing it in, because then they don't feel like they are left behind. But sometimes it's very invigorating to be in that situation where you're surrounded by talented people, because it can rub off on you in a good way. But you have to have that mentality where you can see it as a blessing. Sometimes I think Cancer people sell themselves short. They feel a little bit, they question whether or not they have what it takes. And because you're a water sign, that doesn't make it any easier, because you might be quite sensitive to rejection, to criticism, and that might impede your ability to just let go and be creative, especially if you're in that type of field. I think with the Five of Wands, ballerinas or something, that they're in the dance troupe and they're always competing, or like musicians, who's going to be in the top seat, and they have to compete against each other. But sometimes if a person doesn't have that competitive spirit, it's very hard to really show how talented you are, because you kind of are always pulling back a little bit. Also, I would say too that if you're in a situation where, or if you have been in a situation where there was a lot of conflict in the workplace, you can really see the stark contrast between then and now. And it feels so good to be in a place where there's not drama, but there is a lot of passion. And knowing the difference between the two, and knowing that one is just toxic and the other is, giving you that sense of joy and that sense of positivity. What crosses you is the Knight of Swords, and if this is a person who is problematic in your life, it might be a male, either younger than you or immature in their emotional development, who is of the air element, like a Libra, a Gemini, or an Aquarius. And this person may be trying to thwart you in some way. Perhaps they're competitive with you. If this is a former co-worker or a former partner who is jealous of your success and they're trying to bring you down. I don't think it always has to be like some kind of romantic relationship, but just somebody in your life that, especially if they're a male, because I tend to correspond the court cards to gender. Not 100% of the time, because it can sometimes be a facet of yourself. But I don't think that it is in this case, because this person might use words as a weapon to try to wound you and to get you to doubt yourself. Maybe it's a sibling who isn't doing as well as you are, and they've always felt like competitive, and it's like you're always the one that's achieving things, and they feel like they can't do anything right. If this is somebody like this in your life, it's not to say that this person is necessarily somebody that you should spend a lot of time around, but on the other hand, if you admit to yourself that this person you may have been favored over this person, that might be part of the reason that they have chosen to blame you, because they see you as the problem instead of seeing the parent as the one who did this. So maybe having compassion and hoping that they can get their life together can make you feel as though you did your part, that you didn't pile on if they are the one who's kind of like the black sheep of the family, if you will. Yeah. So what's coming in is represented by the Hierophant, and this is a card that speaks about tradition, it speaks about God. In the business world, the hierarchy, maybe the food chain, as I call it, or like in a corporation, you know, having to go in the different levels. So let's say you got a promotion and you're realizing that there's people who support you, because I think you have supportive energy, but perhaps like your coworkers, maybe you have coworkers or in the past, but now you're in this promoted environment where you have new people that you're dealing with, and it's kind of a conflict, and you're like, wow. And what is that saying? It's like the deeper you go, the fiercer the dragons or something. So the higher that you ascend, the more challenges you might find, because the people are more and more trying to get to the promised land, if you will. So the Five of Wands, this might be that kind of drama that is happening in the workplace, where you get a promotion and then you're dealing with people who are very cutthroat. They're very ambitious, but in a toxic sort of way. And so to me, the Hierophant in that context is like, it is what it is. I mean, this is what you bought into, and now you have to accept the consequences. In other cases, this can be simply that your spiritual beliefs can help you to deal with people that may be stuck in that 3D reality, where they think that they have to fight others for what they get in life, that they can't, like there's not enough to go around. A lot of times that is my feeling when people are competing. And I was always very sensitive to that when I was dealing with that in the workplace, because it seemed like very lack consciousness, like fear-based. I have to be the best worker, and I have to cut down these other people behind their back and point out to my coworkers, oh, do you see how this person isn't doing anything on the job, and all this, to kind of poison the well so that I can look like the best, like I have the best work ethic, I'm doing this. And always in this kind of a fight, you know, that's why I see with the Five of Wands, it's always this kind of a drama in this fight, because the person feels like they're fighting for their survival, even if that is not logically the case. And putting it in the proper context with the spiritual, to me, might be the best way of looking at this and coping with whatever you encounter as you go along here. And, you know, now that I think about it, because I was thinking, okay, what could have been a trigger for Cancer that would have even produced this with the career situation? And what I can trace it back to is the full moon in Aries, which was on October 1st. So if you receive some kind of a promotion, some kind of a boost to your career at the beginning of October, around that time, that might have had a really great influence on one level, but then it's kind of like, and that's just how life is, you know, it's like you have a good aspect to it, but then you have this other aspect. And it's like always something that you have to kind of contend with and deal with. The outcome Ten of Cups, card of happily ever after. This is a card of marriage. This is a card of the pot at the end of the rainbow, which, you know, the number 10 is the number of culmination. So it's really like realizing your objectives. And, you know, the first card I picked was the Page of Wands. The last card was the Ten of Cups. So all's well that ends well. You know, whatever it is that you've had to deal with, and you may have had a little drama in between, but you're coming to a place where you can smile and know that, you know, whatever it is that you were trying to accomplish, that you succeeded. And there's an emotional closure that happens there, because it's like you being able to feel like you accomplished that goal that you set out to do. And so, you know, rather than that feeling of striving, there's like a contentment as a result. And that's why this card is associated with happiness. It's associated with family well-being as well, domestic bliss. So, yeah, so really good stuff. Okay, Cancer, I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you would like to look at 2021, if you would like a natal chart interpretation, all my readings are on sale until December 17th. Please check out what I have to offer. The link is below. Have a great month. Take care. Well, I'll see you in probably a week or so for the end of the month, but have a great week. Bye.